Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Maxi here, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Today, we're going to be starting our brand new Let's Play on a brand new Nintendo Switch game that I'm sure that most people are very excited able to actually see this coming, on a brand new Nintendo Switch game that just released about 3 days ago, so here it is. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So yeah, I'm very excited able to actually do this Let's Play for you guys, especially noticeable about the fact that most people seem to already doing the actual Let's Play of this game, although originally we were expecting to be able to do Kirby Star Allies, but I think I should probably save that conversation until God knows if I decide to go back onto Super Mario 3D All-Stars later on during the course of in June. So for now, let's go and play this amazing new game that just recently came out. So yeah, this is one of my most highly anticipated games for the sake of the forms of this year so far. So, let's see. Would you like to connect to the online? Yes, I'll use that. And it's just a brief info, so I think I should probably accept that. And then you can able to actually change whatever settings you want to go for. And if you want to able to talk to Wise Waddle Dee, okay, just to double check on the global gameplay info, okay, seems pretty standard stuff. And from here, you can able to actually choose between two different difficulties. There's Wild Mode or Spring Breeze Mode. I think the only differences between these two difficulties right here is that Spring Breeze is basically the easy mode and you get a lot more health. And then in Wild Mode, things is like a harder challenge difficulty, which I think that was the only mode I'm going to be tackling through for this Let's Play. So either way though, Wild Mode as it goes. But before we dive right into the actual gameplay itself, I believe we're able to see the opening cinematic scene. Alright, so here we are, starting the game itself, and it turns out that in that particular starting point, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of the Insanity Beach level from the likes of Crash Bandicoot. Why? Because, usually relatively speaking, we ended up in the forms of the sand in the actual beach side, so yeah, it does remind me of that. So yeah, basically, here we are in the forms of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it turns out that in the opening cinematic cutscene, that basically we're getting sucked up onto the forms of that kind of an identical portal as the forms of how it does it in Return to Dreamland, except it might actually take place in a different location instead of another dimension and stuff like that, on the likes of the forms of Kirby's Adventure Wii, or in some cases Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So yeah, if you haven't played any other Kirby games before, except now everything else is in 3D. Yes, for the first time ever in a Kirby game that he's now going to be walking around in a 3D environment. Well, at least if you don't want to count the forms of you know, the eShop exclusive title, which appears to be by the forms of Kirby's Blowout Blast. for the 3DS. So usually, relatively speaking, it's about time to able to actually just to explore in a 3 dimension. So yeah, basically you can still able to jump and also just manage to able to suck up on things, and then just trying to able to maybe come across into those familiar copy abilities on one hand, and also some of these secrets every once in a while, such as, for instance, you know, with these glowing spots, basically that actually represents some of these secrets you might find. So, and everything else though kind of feels like it expected when it comes to any other Kirby games up to this point. Well, the only noticeable differences this time is the fact that, just like in the forms of how it does it on Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, that basically if you try to able to fly up, basically does the fact that you can't do it infinitely, because since we're on a 3D space, so that means about the fact that, yeah, every time whenever you're able to keep on going up and up and up, basically though, Kirby decides to able to actually feel a bit too sweaty, and then as a result, that's you can't go fly all the way higher up, so it makes it pretty obvious. So man, those visuals look spectacular to look at, especially noticeable about the fact that, wow, it's a bit of a shame that it runs at 30 FPS, but either way though, it doesn't bother me too much about it though. I mean, look at the lighting right there, it looks so magnificent, especially noticeable. Whenever I, you know, first saw this game, when it first announced it back in the forms of a year ago almost, or technically speaking, for about 6 months ago, ever since and during the course of the September Nintendo Direct in 2021, that I was so excited, because I almost first thought it was actually a new Donkey Kong game at first, but it turns out it was actually a new Kirby game this whole time, so I was like, oh snap, a 3D Kirby game for the first time, and I was super excited about that. Especially noticeable about the fact that back in the forms of about a year ago, that several rumors keep on mentioning about that specific stuff, and then it turns out it actually became true. So yeah, as you can see, we actually stumbled across our familiar copy abilities, like for instance, the first copy ability we've got at the moment, which appears to be by the forms of the sword. And basically it functions the same way as the forms of how it does it on the previous games, that basically you can able to actually do all kinds of sword attacks. So in this case though, you can able to do upper slashes and all that stuff, and if you try to hold down the B button, then basically you can able to actually perform a spin attack, you know, kind of like you did in the forms of how it does it on several Zelda games. So, but anyway though, let's just go ahead and pick up some health pickups there, and man, I'm just really looking forward to able to actually playing this game for you guys. Although, mind you, that for those of you who have the first time saw this game, it will be a bit of a spoiler alert. Well, I'm not going to mention about it right now, because obviously I just managed able to get started with the game. So, at the very least, that's something to behold. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and double check what's beyond here. I don't think there's any secrets up there, though. Oh, and also another thing as well is the fact that recently today, well, mind you, that today's date is, of course, the 28th of March today, in this case in 2022 today, that looks like, well, I'll explain more about that in a second, because as soon as we're able to actually entering this particular building right there, well, after double checking our secrets, I believe there's going to be another cinematic cutscene. Whoa, this looks so radical. Whenever I managed able to first saw that coming, ever since and during the course of February Nintendo Direct for the sake of this year. So as you can see, we actually managed able to introduce into ourselves the Mouthful Mode. In this case, the first one out of the lineup, or in this case throughout the whole lineup of those Mouthful Modes, that's what it appears to be. We actually take control of the car. Which, kind of think about it, whenever I look at it, it does kind of reminds me of one of those Cars-like characters from the an alright series of the Pixar films. Well, at least specifically the first film wasn't too shabby, but the third one is okay, but the second one is just ugh. Anyway, enough about that, Jimmy Jabba. So basically, it's the fact that you can able to actually just drive around, and basically you can able to press the A button to jump, and then hold down the B button so you can able to perform a turbo dash. So yeah, that's actually pretty satisfying if you're able to actually just try to get used to it. So yeah, basically we need to make our way towards the drawbridge, and then hopefully we can able to smash for those stones or rocks until we're able to actually realize that, well, you probably already know what I mean. So anyways, let's drive through it and, well, let the drawbridge just drop. That is such a cool song. Despite the fact that it was all in Japanese or something like that, or forbidden language, but either way though, oh, what's going on with those Waddle Dees? I guess we're about to investigate, aren't we? And then if you see that when you're able to come across into a ladder, whenever you manage to come across into, when you manage to able to activate the Mouthful Mode, then basically you can able to actually spit out and then just trying to continue things on. In fact, come and think about it, the actual Mouthful Mode kind of reminds me of the forms of the capture enemy system from the likes of Super Mario Odyssey, but either way though, we'll talk more details about that because I think there's going to be another cutscene. Uh-oh, it looks like some creatures elsewhere just managed to able to capture this little fella right here. So it's up to me to able to rescue her. So anyways, every once in a while there's going to be some enemy battles here and there. So of course we can easily manage to take them down by simply able to actually use the bombs. So that way we can able to actually just to demolish them like so. So of course you can also manage to utilize the guard button if you wanted to, just like in any other Kirby games up to this point. But hey, at least that's something is usually far from the case. But there we go, we've managed to rescue her, so yeah. Phew, you saved me, thank you. But what about those other guys, the Waddle Dees? They were all captured and taken away. We fought those beasts as hard as we could, but they kept coming back for more. Now I'm the only one left. I have to go save them. I have to. Well, that's that warp star right there. What? You'll help me save everyone? That's great. So your name is Kirby. I'm Elflin. Nice to meet you. Oh, I see. Kind of a familiar creature, huh? But before we progress, though, hey, Kirby. Oh, look, it's Bandana Waddle Dee. Which means you could also manage to play this game as in 2-player co-op, so at the very least that's that. Boy, I am glad to see you. I got pulled through that vortex over planet Popstar too. If you ever want a second player to join you, just let me know. I'll always be ready. So yeah, by simply able to actually either play this game as in Joy-Con controllers or with the Pro controller, which is the controller I'm actually using at the moment. So, anyway, so yeah, let's just go ahead and progress through, and hopefully we're able to come across into ourselves the first world in the game, known as Natural Plains. And the first stage we're going to be hit on to is Downtown Grassland. Because I'm pretty sure with that particular intro stage we've already went into, that appears to be like a tutorial kind of level. So just get used to with the actual main mechanics, especially noticeable with that Mouthful concept as we've already come across into. So anyway, so let's get to it with the forms of Downtown Grassland, the first level in the game. So the fact, kind of think about it though, is the fact that the entire structure of the world map itself sometimes, it does kind of reminds me of the forms of the combination of let's just say Kirby-style allies, especially noticeable with the forms that you can able to move around freely in the actual world map. But at the same time though, with Super Mario 3D World, because, well, the reason why I pointed things out is because, well, we'll point it out whenever we get into it. So, anyways, let's get to it with the forms of the, well, like I said, Downtown Grassland. So, as to be expected, there's going to be some of these exact same enemies we've already come across into every once in a while. But, hopefully we can easily manage to able to take these guys down no matter what. So, yeah. And I do apologize with my commentary. It gets a little bit tad too late when it comes to the forms of the actual text box here and there. This is mainly because, once again, my computer starts lagging, which, frankly, it doesn't go completely drop in lag, but it's just the fact that with my commentary program, for the likes of the forms of the video wave and stuff like that, that for the love of God, whenever I was trying to able to do commentary, it just always lags every time, especially noticeable on 1080p videos and stuff like that, which is always too inconsistent, I'm telling you. It's way too inconsistent, so, but I digress. But hopefully I'll try to fix that. And doing at some point, maybe later on Wednesday, and possibly Friday. So because of that though, oh, there's another Mouthful ability that we can able to interact with, but let me get colored back up. And we got ourselves the Vending Machine. And basically this allows you to able to actually shoot those soda cans into certain enemies or certain box crates and all that stuff. But the reason why we have to shoot it from here is because there are some, every once in a while though, there's going to be some mission objectives where basically though every single level does manage to retain the missions, which basically sometimes you can either give you certain objectives like clear the stage as normal, and also just managed to able to find some hidden Waddle Dees, which I believe the Waddle Dees are kind of like the equivalent to the forms of Korok Seeds from the likes of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, especially noticeable with the Power Moons from the likes of Super Mario Odyssey. So even then though, in some cases though, is the fact that in order to able to progress in the game, my guess is the fact that we need to collect a certain amount of those Waddle Dees before we progress to the actual game. So I don't mind about it too much though, especially noticeable about the fact that this game is going to be involved around in exploration once again, so at the very least that something is usually something to behold. So anyways, yeah, because as you can see, that we can't fly infinitely anymore, unlike the forms of how it doesn't in the previous games, that you can do that because we are on a 2D plane. So, yeah, because it feels like a combination of any other Kirby games, as well as Kirby 64 the Crystal Shards, so that's pretty much summarized as far as I can usually think about it. So, I wonder if it's possible that maybe if Kirby 64 the Crystal Shards might actually be on the Switch Online membership services until maybe next month or something, probably because about the fact that until next month, that it will mark the 30th anniversary of the Kirby series, to be more specifically, the 30th anniversary. And speaking of such though, is the fact that, you know, it's about the fact that today's day is of course the like I said, today is the forms of the 28th of March today, in this case in 2022 today. And for those of you who lived in Japan, happy 20th anniversary of the Kingdom Hearts series if you lived in Japan. So yeah, I can't even believe that the original Kingdom Hearts game on the PlayStation 2 has been out for 20 years now. So either way though, yeah, I can't believe time flies, you know? But I digress. So in this case though, let's go ahead and continue things on here. So of course you get a checkpoint every time you're able to actually move on to the next segment of the level. So at the very least you're still able to actually stumble across checkpoints here and there. So, and something is a little bit different this time compared to the forms of how it does in the previous Kirby games this time. And that is the fact that you do realize is the fact that much like, let's just say, both Super Mario Odyssey as well as the forms of Bowser's Fury mode from the likes of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Switch, you do realize about the fact that there's no extra lives this time, which the only reason being for this is because, well, if you somehow managed able to, you know, drain all of your health into 0 health, basically though, you don't lose a life, but instead, you're able to actually lose about 100 of those star coins. So, star coins are basically the equivalent to, you know, certain star, you know, collectibles for the sake of the forms in the past few games. So, well, most likely in modern Kirby games, I'm pretty sure, since Return to Dreamland. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What was your first impressions of the forms of Kirby and the Forgotten Land? Although, for me though, my first experience with the game was actually really, very good first impression, because obviously with amazing visuals, and on top of all that stuff though, like I said, in 3D, that makes things a lot more interesting and all that stuff. And on top of all that stuff though, since I've already experienced the demo, back in during the course of about a few weeks ago, and I had really had a great time with this game so far. To be more specifically in the demo, sure, it was a bit short, but regardless of everything else though, I cannot wait to see what the final version of the game holds up to be, so... But yeah, you get the idea of how this is going. So, in fact, kind of think about it though, this game does remind me of Super Mario 3D World sometimes, because obviously we're going to be exploring around in 3D, and while the game might be still a bit linear, but regardless of everything else though, it's just the fact that I don't mind about it too much. So, and here we go, faced up against with the forms of Wild Edge, which I'm pretty sure it was actually in a different makeover at this time, so I guess that makes it pretty obvious of what the actual, the place itself usually takes place into. But either way though, let's just go ahead and, take him down like no sweat with, you know, with the star projectiles, which actually gives us a lot of damage to certain, not only enemies, but also boss encounters, and hopefully we can able to rescue one of our good old Waddle Dees here and there. So at the very least we're able to actually rescue one of them, so yeah, certain missions like this usually can be summarized as in, well, obviously clear the stage as normal, and try to find any other hidden Waddle Dees in certain spots of the level, and every once in a while there's going to be some of these mission objectives that actually requires you to able to go into certain secret passages, or even especially noticeable, you have to deal with the stage with certain conditions, and every once in a while though with certain collectibles you have to get. So in this case though, in this particular level's case, we do need to able to find the red flowers that we need to bloom. So it kind of reminds me of the forms of Kirby Dream Land 3 for some extensions, but in this case though, it's just the fact the matter is though, except now you're able to explore in 3D and stuff. So yeah, pretty much obvious at that point, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and... Excuse me, I'm too sorry about this point, folks, because, I've got something stuck in my throat, yet again, but hopefully until the next video I won't be coming across into that issue, so... Oh yeah, and by the way, this is our another Mouthful ability that we have, and that's what appears to be the safety cone. And basically, this allows you to able to actually do a bit of a devastating attack, such as like that. And then you can able to actually use that for certain enemy encounters if you're having trouble trying to deal with the forms of tougher enemies and stuff like that. Mainly with the forms of that particular bull-like enemy and stuff like that. Then obviously you can able to do just that with a bit of a one-hit kill on most of those enemies, like these guys here. So in this case, though, yeah, that's what I just did right there. And there we go. We've managed able to make those tulips bloom. So in this case, though, we need to find all 5 of them. So in this case, though, I've managed able to do just that. Because for some reason, whenever I managed to play this game on a demo version, that for some reason, I just couldn't seem for the life of me, can never actually find most of those red flowers in during the course of that particular point. But, excuse me, that's basically every once in a while, though, I know exactly what they are. So, anyways, let's go ahead and deal with this particular... Oh, I can now able to actually smash for that particular pipe. And from here, we can able to get ourselves... Oh yeah, that's something is also a thing I would like to suggest, and that's what has to be by default of those specific capsules. Although, usually for those capsules though, I think it kind of functions the same way. If for those who ever played Kirby Triple Deluxe, especially noticeable with Kirby Planet Robobots, and even Kirby Star Allies, for, you know, with the keychains, stickers, and especially noticeable with puzzle pieces, I believe those capsules are completely randomized. So, from those capsules in mind, you get yourself some very cool figurines. So in this case, though, we got ourselves captured Waddle Dees, including Kirby and Bobby Bros Jr. So in this case, though, we actually got 3 figures so far. So, yeah, that might be something worth classifying for noticing this. However, there will be every once in a while that you will come across into the forms of some duplicates of those exact same figurines every time you're able to actually come across into certain capsules that you might able to actually consider trying to finding them. So now we can able to look up on the figure collection by simply pressing the minus button. So in this case, though, we're not gonna worry about this right now because we are now moving on to the next level, which is through the tunnel. I think this is the level that I somewhat recognized for a little bit, but that was in the forms of one of those trailers. So in this case, though, we can now able to explore the actual tunnel itself. But before we do all that stuff, though, there's some secrets there, such as, for instance, the actual cake, as in the actual health pickup. So yeah, that pretty much summarizes as such. And of course, just like the forms of how it does it on any other Kirby games, including Star Allies, basically does the fact that you can able to actually drop your ability if you wanted to. So in this case, though, but then again, I'll explain more details about the forms of Kirby Star Allies as soon as I get back into Super Mario 3D All-Stars on the likes of Super Mario Sunshine. So, but that won't be until likely at some point in June, like I said. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get some more star coins. And the reason that the star coins is now a thing in this game, this is mainly because about the fact that every once in a while, though, that we will come across into something that's quite valuable until you're able to realize that. We'll explain more details about that until we continue our progressioning into this game. So, and as far as I'm aware, I will try my best to able to actually go for the 100% completion of this particular title. Although, the only thing is worth noting for is the fact that, relatively speaking, like I said, certain figurines might actually become a little bit tedious at points, able to grind, especially noticeable that, like I said, every once in a while that you will come across into duplicates of them, especially noticeable about the fact that, similar to keychains in Triple Deluxe and stickers in Planet Robobots and even jigsaw puzzle pieces from Star Allies, that every once in a while they're all pretty much randomized. Although I'm pretty sure it will do the same thing on Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush and the Rainbow Curse for those of you who lived in America. But either way, though, let's not worry about this too much because obviously we're just gonna have to, you know, keep on exploring around. And I believe the mission objectives in this particular level's case, well, we already come across into one of them anyway. That's what it appears to be, trying to find the secret room. So that's pretty swell, I have to say. And also, I really love the fact that, wow, I just really want able to do the continuous fireball dash if I somehow jump in midair. That way, I can able to actually skip certain portions of the level. Well, mind you, not every single segment's there, most notably because of how the fact that certain areas has been blocked off onto certain invisible walls. But I don't mind about it too much about it, though, because either way, though, that, still, I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out to be, so anyway, so let's go ahead and burn this mushroom-like enemy and lit up those specific Latin switches, so just in case we can able to actually do certain exploration there, and grab that hold of a switch and get ourselves our next capsule. So I think for the most part, I think that's as far as I can usually try to describe about the forms of what Kirby and the Forgotten Land looks like. So in this case though, I'm very, very excited able to see how this turns out to be, because like I said, this is one of my most highly anticipated games for 2022 so far, next to Mario Strikers Battle League Football, and even the forms of Klonoa Fantasy Revive series or something like that. I can't really exactly know what the game itself is called now, because trying to say that word, it just feels a bit kind of easy to able to mispronounce, so I do apologize for that. So anyway, and maybe we were able to actually see some other new titles coming up in the future for the sake of the whole entire year. Like, I'm hoping for a new Donkey Kong game to be revealed, or maybe a new 3D Mario game, if it's not gonna be just you know, Super Mario Odyssey 2, it might as well be something else. And even especially noticeable with Splatoon 3, and especially noticeable with Sonic Frontiers, and Mario Plus Rapid Sparks of Hope, and hopefully that the other games might actually come out too. Oh, and also, I've heard from several rumors out there that they did actually somewhat mention about the fact that there will be another compilation game on its way, but this time involves around maybe something related to the Kirby collection, similar to the forms of how it does in Super Mario 3D All-Stars, but either way though, it's all about rumors, so I don't think it's usually like a grain of salt or anything else to be more specific. So because of that though, it's hard to tell at the moment, because obviously this year marks the 30th anniversary of the Kirby series after all, so because gotta think about it, that we might actually get ourselves maybe possibilities of 2 huge compilations every once in a while, like Sonic Origins that we still haven't heard from it. But anyway, here's another mouthful ability we have. We have a stairs mouth. Okay, a little bit weird, but hey, at least it's pretty cool to able to see how this is gonna turn out. So yeah, basically you can able to actually actually I think I was able to use that for the majority of that particular segment right there. So anyways, let's look up the actual staircase, and basically, depending on what directions you're able to decide to fall over into, basically though is the fact that you can able to actually demolish any other enemies in no time flat, and if you see those cracked walls, then basically you can able to actually just well, bash those specific cracked walls, and that's as far as I can usually try to describe it. So anyway, so I think there might be a secret up there, although I'm also able to double check anyway. No, it doesn't seem to be like it, because, well, I'm pretty sure we can't go fly all the way higher up, so in this case we should probably, proceed right here. So, yeah, that's as far as I can usually think about it. So, anyway, let's just, tumble the stairs right here, so that way we could able to... What is up with that poster right there? And I'm sure that we'll point things out whenever we're able to continue proceeding for this, so... Because yeah, if you see those, the objects are usually sparkling whenever they manage able to do just like this. Basically, that actually represents you're about to be able to activate the Mouthful ability, which, like I said, it does remind me of the forms of the capture enemy system from the likes of Super Mario Odyssey, except the fact that basically, usually relatively speaking, you have to use Cappy in order to able to actually capture enemies and take control over it. But in here though, you can able to actually just able to take control of the forms of, well, pretty much anything for the delves. So, and I get a feeling we do need a staircase in order to get up there, so that might be the reason I just cannot fly even higher up, so that's perfectly fine. So at the very least we can able to actually place it right here. Although, I'm pretty sure if you manage able to lift up the actual, yeah, it'll just blocks the actual, flame string, so we'll just go ahead and place that somewhere else, to be more specifically with that little, safety, board right there, so I think that should be, good to go for this point. Yeah, just like in any other Kirby games, well, a couple of exceptions, mind you, that, basically you can able to every time you're able to actually mess it up on that particular cannon fuse, basically, luckily for you, that the actual string will able to reset, so, at the very least, that's something is usually going for it. So there's the another Waddle Dee. So, I think that is the last, hidden Waddle Dee that we actually found, for the sake of the forms of this stage so far. So, it feels like we are getting there for our progressioning so far. Mind you, that this particular Let's Play might actually be kind of long, in comparison to other Kirby games, I'm pretty sure, because well, as far as I'm aware, that, I'm pretty sure we're almost at the halfway point of, the first world already. So, let's just go ahead and just keep on using, the Fireball Dash until we made our way to the Golden Cage, which the Golden Cage actually represents the end of the levels just on the horizon. So, you know, kind of like the equivalent to, let's just say in one of those specific locations for certain power moons, or, grand power moons from, or multi-moon from the likes of the forms of Super Mario Odyssey. So, anyway, so we got ourselves, 2 more figures, so that should be good to go for the most part. So, anyway, so now we can able to actually return back to the world map as we go. And, obviously we've now actually accessed to the next level, which is Rocking Rolling Road, which I think I'll save that up and doing at some point in the next video. So, anyway. And by the way, with that particular, star icon that actually represents not only yellow, but also pink in the middle, this means that it's basically about the fact that you pretty much, completed everything on the level. And also, we stumbled across those strange portals, which I think I'll show that off and doing at some point in the next video. So, anyway, so suffice to say, I think we should probably end things off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And that is the fact that we'll continue things on in natural plains while going through Rocky Rolling Road. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.